Hi, this is Renata with the Side Hustle Chicks. I'm here with the Side Hustle Summit, excited to be here talking to you about taking the mystery out of mystery shopping. I know we've talked about mystery shopping some time ago, many times before. I don't know if it's come up lately in eCom Sellers Academy, but we love to talk about mystery shopping. So I'm here just to talk to you about a real way to get paid to eat, play, and stay. I know some people don't think that they can get this kind of thing done, but I've heard the question many, many times. So I'm here to let you know that we're going to get into it today. So I am Renata Darden, coined the terms for me and my business partner Nicole. We are the Side Hustle Chicks. I was born and raised in Kansas along with my business partner. I've been living in Texas for more than 30 years. I've been in a few different places in Texas, Houston, Dallas, and now Central Texas. But I started mystery shopping back in 2006 when I was with a child. I was pregnant with my younger son. I have two boys, two amazing teenage boys now. And so once I had my older son, went back to work, started a business, was working that in addition to my full-time job. And when I got ready to have my second child, I was already kind of toying with the idea of not going back full-time. Mystery shopping seemed like a good way to kind of dip my toe into a way for me to have an additional stream of income. So my sons have been along for the ride for a very long time, literally along for the ride. Usually they were in the car with me, they were in the stroller with me, they were doing the assignments with me when I was out taking care of these. And so now I do see, a lot of the side hustles, a lot of the technology advancements are making some of these things seem like there's lots of changes that are on the forefront that make us always have to kind of shift and look at things differently. But I do see mystery shopping as a viable side hustle well into the future. We'll talk about why. So let's get into it. Question number one that I always get whenever I mention to anyone that I do mystery shopping, is that something, is that a real thing? Is that something that people actually do? Do you actually get paid for that? Do you actually find jobs that pay? Is it real? Yes, it's real. As I mentioned, I've been doing it for a little over 16 years. My youngest son is almost 17, so I guess it's been almost 17 years now. Spent a good maybe 2 or 3 months just getting signed up with companies and then jumped right into it. So yes, it is definitely a real thing. In spite of what you may have heard or in spite of the troubles that you may have had trying to get started in the past, we're here to give you some tips on that. It is a real thing. It is not a new thing. It's been around for years and years and years, and it is considered one of the best practices for companies that are looking to measure their service and improve their customer service and customer retention. Back in the 40s, they mainly used it with banking and retail. They wanted to prevent employee theft. But now that we got the internet, as they say, the internet always wins, and it's completely changed the way companies are able to try to capitalize on, that data that we're able to capture. And this industry has grown by leaps and bounds, especially just in the last 30 years because of the internet. Many, is it legit? Yes, many companies do hire mystery shoppers. What they do is they'll use a third party that actually screens the mystery shoppers, does the background checks, and hires the mystery shoppers. But the shoppers are just used to kind of assess customer service. They're wanting to look at the environment, the cleanliness, the processes, the behaviors, and then, specific employees. Sometimes they have a target employee that may be a new person, maybe someone that they are wanting to train others, and they just want to get a handle on how that person performs. So what a mystery shopper does is act as a regular customer. You're discreet about it. So you're observing and evaluating based on their request. But usually it's the products, services, and location. And that could include, as I said, the processes, cleanliness, and quality. And as a mystery shopper, the reason they use mystery shoppers is they're able to provide unbiased feedback without influencing the behavior of employees. So you can imagine if they sent someone in. I don't know if any of you've seen like Undercover Boss, but clearly, when they don't know that they're being watched, you get a different behavior than if send someone from corporate in to do some type of audit and everyone knows that person is there. So this gives the company people the ability to get that information without changing the employee behaviors. So many people have told me, and as I mentioned, I've been doing this for a long time, so I've heard many stories. Well, I have a friend who tried it, but she said she had to pay up front. Yes, that is a real deal. And so I've had people, for whatever reason, say they tried mystery shopping in the past, and they may have decided it either wasn't for them, or they didn't understand it, or they didn't get paid, or there's all these stories. But companies often pay shoppers by assignment, not by the hour. So it's not one of these things where just because you put in the time, you're going to get paid. They have a specific set of requirements that they are looking for, and they expect you to deliver. There is a deliverable on the end of that is the reason that you're going to get paid. The pay on each assignment often depends on the difficulty of the assignment. So we'll get into how you look at mystery shopping a little bit later. But for me now, it is primarily more of a lifestyle type thing. This is definitely not something that I use to replace any type of income. It is definitely an additional income stream for me. But I use it to do things that I would normally do anyway. And so many of these assignments, the evaluations, the reports have gotten to be very, very, very easy for me just because I've done them so many times. But if you've never seen the report, if you're not used to the report, if it's something that you haven't, ever done before, you will want to take that time up front and know that you're going to put your money out up front, and then you have to get paid based off of your assignment. So other times companies don't pay shoppers at all, but they may reimburse them for their expenses or allow them to keep what it is that they want you to buy as a part of your assignment. Reimbursements can often take between 30 and 90 days to receive. So yes, you do have to have the money up front before your assignment in order to purchase the item or to make, if it's a food purchase or a restaurant or entertainment, whatever that is, you actually have to spend your money up front. You get your pay and or reimbursement on the back end. And I'm being honest, I've never been with a company that took 90 days to pay, but when you go through their application process or try to request an assignment, those details will be in each of those assignments. So you want to make sure you know how long it's going to take for you to get your money back. So of course, the way I like to spell it out primarily to my children, because they are using their funds, but it's like you're recycling the money that you already have. So we'll get into, some specific examples, but here, just a brief one. If you're going on a fast food assignment, the assignment's going to pay you $20 and they're going to reimburse you $20. You're going to spend your, $20 to buy your burger, fries, drink, shake, whatever the required purchase is. But let's say you have a gift card, you use that, and then you know that in, I'm going to say 30 days, that money is coming back to you. But instead of just the 20 that you spent, you now have 40 on that card because of the pay plus the reimbursement that you would be able to spend on the next assignment. And so one thing about it, you've got to very carefully weigh how many of these can I do, how many do I want to do, and how many will I do in order to make the type of income that I want to make. So these are just a few things to keep in mind because I've heard these stories before. Yes, I have a friend who tried it. She said she had to pay up front. Absolutely. In most cases, that is absolutely what happens. So that is not indicative of some type of scam. They do want you to do the assignment in whole, completely, and they need to have a deliverable, some type of report or evaluation that the mystery shopping company can give to their client, and then that client in turn pays them, and then they pay you. Another one, I had a friend who tried it, but he said he could rarely find good assignments. So, just like with any other opportunity, or so many of them out there, everyone who tries it will not decide that it's something that they want to do. There are tons of companies. So, you have to make a decision that this is something that you are interested in doing. If you're someone that enjoys going out, trying new places, places maybe that you wouldn't otherwise possibly go try. Some of them, if there are more on the more expensive side, some of them that you wouldn't take the chance to try. This is a great opportunity. So there are some really good companies out there. There are also some companies that have been known to be slow paying companies. There are some companies, because of where I live now, that only have a few shops in my area. And then there are those companies that I know I can find regular assignments with, and I can actually build routes with them if I choose to do that. In other words, I'll be able to go out in a single day or a single week and know that I've got back to back to back assignments in different parts of my city, just to get not just the income coming in, but if I've got different errands that I want to run, it might be the post office, it might be a hardware store, it might be car wash, whatever those things are, I'll be able to build a route and get those things done and get paid for them. So yes, if you are not willing to put in the time to find out which companies have the assignments that would be not just interesting to you, but beneficial from the standpoint of time and pay, not necessarily always going to be a good fit. I, again, have been doing it for a very long time, and it fits in with our lifestyle. Heard it many times. I had a friend who tried it and he got scammed. They took money from him. He lost, XYZ. And so there are some very common mystery shopping scams out there. And some of them have been around for a very long time, and some of them resurface year after year. Anytime you're looking at any online job related offers, I tell you, you must do your research on every job and on every company, as there are scams out there that you will need to watch for. And that's not just with mystery shopping, that's with everything out there. Any work at home job, there's just so many people out here that are trying to come up or, get over on people. You just really have to watch out. But there are some scams out there. But if you do a little bit of research, you'll be able to quickly find out what they are. And of course, I'm going to give you some tips on how to find out if a company is real or legit. And then, of course, with the jobs, what some of the key indicators are. So yes, there are people that have gotten scammed. So if you've had a friend who tried it and said they gotten scammed, I'm going to tell you some ways to avoid some of those scams. And like I said, I've seen it. I personally have not. I have a pretty good spam blocker, or the filters on my system. So I've personally not been. No one's really ever tried to scam me with the mystery shopping job that I can recall. At least not in the last 10 or 12 years. I know there used to be some that went out by mail when the internet wasn't as big a thing. But I've seen and heard people talk about, well, they know that I shop. So some people will bring things to me and say, I got this in the mail. Is it real? So if any company says that you need to pay a fee to become a mystery shopper, that's always a scam. These companies want to pay you to do a job, not the reverse. You don't pay anyone for work. So that's always going to be a scam. When you're looking for jobs, there are a few ways to avoid the scam. So you don't pay for work, never ever. And you're not going to apply for jobs that are going to guarantee that you're going to make, thousands of dollars on some type of assignment. Typically, that ain't how this works. I'm just going to put it out there. There are some very good paying jobs, and I'll say good paying in the sense of the benefits that you get out of them, all the way up to cruises and flights. But that's very far down the line. And by then you've actually established, a relationship with some of the schedulers. So, when those things are legit. You're not going to pay for a list of mystery shopping jobs because the companies that you're going to sign up for are going to give those to you. You're going to know exactly what jobs are available. And when you find something in your area that you are interested in, you're simply going to either assign it to yourself if that's if they allow you to do that on their platform, or you're going to put in a quick application, which is literally just your username, your ID, and the day you can do it. They've got all of your information in their profile. And so they're going to decide, as a scheduler, their job is to match the jobs with the people that they know are going to be reliable. As a new shopper, they're going to give you a chance with some of the smaller jobs. But when you prove yourself as reliable to get the job done right, and get the job done on time, then they're going to come back to you again and again, and they will allow you to assign these jobs to yourself. So there won't be any kind of waiting period or anything like that. You'll be able to build your schedule out and go out and get it done. Any job or offer that wants you to deposit a check into your bank account and send them any amount of money back. I've seen a few of my friends have come to me with some of these and said, well, they want me to shop a bank and they want me to deposit this money, but my part of the pay is XYZ amount. They want me to deposit the rest of it and then send the money back. Always a scam. And so you can look right on the FTC or the Federal Trade Commission's website, because it is that big of a deal. Mystery shopping scams, and you'll be able to see some of these same tips to avoid those scams. So let's get into it. What exactly is mystery shopping? And as I mentioned before, it's just a technique that market research companies are using to observe the quality of their customer service. They want to know how that overall experience is for their customers, and wherever their locations are, them using trained, I say trained because they're giving you specific guidelines. They're telling you exactly what to look for. They're telling you exactly how to position it. So that's your training, to anonymously evaluate their operations, their employee integrity, if it's an integrity shop or compliance shop, customer service. Sometimes they want merchandising information, were the shelves stocked, were they faced, that sort of thing. And of course, the product quality. If you're at a restaurant, they want to know, was the food good? Was it fresh? Was it seasoned? Was it flavorful? Was it hot? All of those things. They want information that only someone sitting in that seat in their place can give them. Mystery shopping also has many names. So if you hear someone talking about secret shopping, or if you hear someone speaking about mystery customers, sometimes mystery consumers, hear someone talking about spotters or spot shopping or spot checking. If you hear someone speaking of anonymous audits, virtual customers, employee evaluations, performance audits, or telephone checks, those are all pretty much the same thing. It's a way for companies to get that information back so that they can capture it and use it to their advantage to retain their customers and improve customer service, which is a part of that. People want to know, what are the typical assignments? And I'm going to say, just off the cuff, because I've done so many different types, you would be amazed. But I don't really believe that there are many industries that don't do some type of mystery shopping. But just to give you a list, almost every retail store, almost every service-oriented industry uses some type of mystery shopper. But other companies are going to include restaurants, beauty salons. I know recently I got an offer to go do a newer lash spot. I don't really let people mess with my lashes if I'm not familiar with the actual company. Car washes, we have multiple cars. I've probably not paid for a car wash in, I don't know, more than 6 or 7 years, just kind of on a rotation. So whenever I need those, I can get those done. Car maintenance shops, same things with oil changes. Very rare for me to have to pay for an oil change or basic maintenance, things like tire rotations. If I need parts or service, that's a different thing. But if it's basic things like tire rotation, windshield wipers, That can get pretty pricey on certain brands of cars, but those types of things I can almost always find a shop for. And then going to the dealership, if you're in the market for a car, as far as buying another car, they will absolutely pay you for that feedback. Banks, opening accounts, um, getting investment advice, credit cards, all of those things. There are definitely a plethora of assignments for those type of evaluations. Apartment complexes, if you're in the market for a home, also mortgages, movie theaters, entertainment centers. We very regularly, I won't say often, but at least on a regular schedule, we'll go to one of these entertainment complexes where you can bowl and do the arcade and the laser tag and all of that. And that and eat. They want you to give them an evaluation of the food and the service. So we'll do all of that, and it's on the company's dime. Now I will make you aware. Like I said, I have teenagers now, but when they were younger, the price I paid for that was I was not super involved in the activity, which was fine by me. My kids were younger. All the bowling, laser tag, and arcade video games, that sort of thing. They were doing most of the playing while I was observing, walking around, trying to make note of certain things in the establishment, taking notes, and, so that I can get the evaluation filled out. So a lot of times I wasn't really actually in on it. Now that they're older, they can kind of spot check some things for me and give me a heads up on certain things. So we can kind of split the job up and get some things done. Makeup counters, if that's your thing, plenty of those assignments out there as well. Dental office, if you need dental work. I mean, there are so many jobs out there, things that you already are doing that, like I said, when I go out to run errands, I would say 80% of my errands in a week are something that I'm getting paid to do, whether that's mail a package, ship something off to my mom, go get, the oil change, go pick up something from the hardware store, those type of things. I'll just put them on my list, like I said, and just, put them on a rotation. But yeah, absolutely. If you've got to get dental work done anyway, you might as well evaluate the cleanliness of the office and the customer service and get, reimbursed for some of that. How does this thing work? So companies are definitely interested in the data. So they hire a third party company, and those companies are market research companies that specialize in compiling this data and making recommendations based off of what the mystery shopper says happened while they were on their evaluation. So these companies are usually the ones that are going to hire you as a mystery shopper. They're going to let you know that you're a 1099, not an employee. You don't have any of the benefits of an employee. But you're going to pretend to be a customer, and you're gathering specific information based on their guidelines. So you don't go in there and decide what you want to assess. They're going to tell you exactly what it is that they're looking for and what type of information you are to gather. Some of it may be based on how clean the facility is. Some of it may be based specifically on customer service. But those guidelines and instructions are going to come directly to you, and then they're going to give that data back to the company. So, you're on the back end of this, but everything has to be done very quickly, because when you're looking at this type of data, it's only good for a certain period of time. They've got to get that turnaround back to the company so that they know, this employee or this location or this manager behaved, acted, or did something in this manner so that they can correct it, before there is kind of a trickle down effect and it, has a bearing on their customers. So you give that data back to the company. They're able to use those observations to determine areas of improvement, and they make those recommendations to the company, which is their client. Now, why would you consider this? Like I said, if you're someone that likes to go out, try new things, if you're someone that, is typically out and about anyway, if you're someone that likes the idea of, getting your favorite foods on the low or for free, if you are someone that, likes to go out and try new experiences, if you want to go to a racetrack, or if you want to go to a specific water park, or any of those things that that you would like to do and then have an impact when you go, I think this would be a great side hustle for you. You get to set your own days, hours, and locations. You can only work the assignments that interest you. You get tons and tons and tons of offers that'll come your way. The delete button, that's open, free to delete. You don't have to talk to anyone. You don't have to explain to anyone. You're just not interested. So you go through and you can get the assignments, from 5 or 10 companies. I will tell you, the more companies you sign up with, the more offers you will get. And so over the years, because I've been doing it for so long, I am literally signed up with hundreds of companies. So I get tons and tons and tons of emails. Some of them, don't even apply to me because I don't live in the same. I used to live in a major metroplex and now I'm in a smaller city. So some of those companies, they send stuff out and, it may be months before they even have something in my area. So yeah, I've got to go through, delete, delete, delete. Some of those I'm not interested in at all. Delete, delete, delete. But you work the assignments that interest you and only those assignments that interest you. As I mentioned before, it's a great way to try new places. When a new place comes to town, if you can find out who that who they are the client of, which company they are the client of, and get in on some of those mystery shopping assignments when they are fresh and brand new, they definitely want that feedback. It's a great way to have new experiences. So, if you're out with your family or out with your kids, and if you're in a city where they've got something that you don't have at home, another great way to try something new. We've been to a few out of town theme parks, a few out of town water parks. We've definitely been to a few out of town museums and zoos and that sort of thing. But we dig that, so that's what we like to do. If you have any children, eventually they will be of an age where they will go out on their own, whether that's to college or not. But this is a great way to give them some transferable skills. So they will always, always, always be able to say, hey, if my favorite restaurant is in this place that I'm going away to, maybe the town adjacent to you, but they'll know, hey, at least 2 or 3 times a month, I'm going to be able to go and look this assignment up, and lock in. I can get this assignment, get my favorite meal, whatever it is. My son's favorite restaurant happens to be a very pricey burger restaurant. And so, yeah, just about the only time he will go, for a $20 burger meal is when he's got a mystery shop. So, that's something he decides when he wants to do that. He'll go and find them, snatch up a couple of them, and that's when he'll go and have that as a meal. So if you've got kids, they will eventually become teenagers, and even when they're younger, you can clue them in on this and get them started, and they can start actually helping you with the evaluations, so they'll know how to do it, and they'll say, "Hey, you got mine do anyway. You got any shops for whatever today, or you have any shops today?" Like when they have a hankering for something, we're out and about. That's the first thing they ask because they know kind of, that's how we roll over here. One of the things that I really enjoy, one of the reasons I got started with mystery shopping was that you can improve the customer experience. As a business owner, customer service is very important to me. And thinking, that I'm helping a business owner improve their customers' experience, thereby retaining their customers, thereby helping that business thrive. That was important to me. So that was kind of how I got started many, many, many years ago. That was one of the things that made me interested in it in the first place. So if that's something that you'd like to do, actually have an impact on a business's bottom line, then that would be another reason to consider mystery shopping. One of the things that I like is when you do a revealed or reward audit, then you have an opportunity to make an employee's day. So if they follow all the specifications that they're supposed to do when you're going in to do an evaluation, you can actually hand them a gift card and say, you know what, you passed. That is such a thing. You can do that, and they get a great gift card. They get like a grade. At some point that may result in some type of bonus or promotion for them. And so, that's something that I enjoy as well. You don't have to pick those if that's not your thing. Like I say, you can go into these places, never have to, really talk to anyone to get the assignment. And once you get there, outside of just general interaction while you're there, nobody ever has to know this is something that you do. So can I do this? I can't think of any reason, anything that would really preclude anyone from being able to be a mystery shopper or to do mystery shopping as a side hustle. But there are a few things that make you better at it than, everyone's not going to be good at it. And so good written communication skills, that's going to be essential for writing clear and effective shop reports. So not every report is going to have a narrative, but the higher paying shops, I said, it depends on the difficulty level. So the ones that we do day in, day out, they may not pay a whole lot, but I'm able to get a multitude of them and, pass those along to my kids as well. So we do a lot of those. But when it comes to the higher paying shops, the hotel shops, the travel shops, those sorts of things, the resorts, they want details. They want very, very good written assessments of what transpired in every transaction. I'll give you it's a little later on in the slides as well, but a specific resort that we have been to regularly, not something that we frequent. Some of these companies have rotations too. They don't want you to be like a regular. They don't want you to be recognized, especially, if you're shopping. They don't want the report to come back to bite them in the butt because somebody recognizes you as, oh, that must be the person that said this, that, or the third. So, but yeah, you got to have good written communication skills, be able to write a report that is clear, concise, easy to understand, and not require a lot of editing. Attention to detail. Details are very important for those same reasons in that report. And you need to remember facts about, each transaction so that, you can recall those and actually put those into your report. I'll give you a couple of tips about that, but discretion, you don't want to blow your cover. Every shop I've ever done has been anonymous. Aside from, like I said, a reward shop or a revealed audit where toward the end you let someone know that, you were assessing them for some type of, to like a pass or fail. Were they wearing their uniform? Were they wearing their name tag? Did they have their shirt tucked in? Did they have on, a hairnet? All of those things that the company wants to know. But aside from that, every transaction should be anonymous. So you don't want to blow your own cover. You want to be discreet about everything. If you're taking pictures of food nowadays is mainstream. So that's not any kind of clue of anything. But, some years ago, you couldn't just whip your camera out and start taking pictures because people would be like, well, what is she taking pictures of? You got to be careful not to have your flash on and those sorts of things that draw attention to yourself. So anonymity is typically one of the requirements of any mystery shop. So, good interpersonal skills. I think this is a little bit debatable, but I think it's necessary in order to interact with employees, while you're there to collect the necessary data. You can't walk in and never talk to the employees and, to be able to find out if they're friendly, if they're knowledgeable, if they, follow the procedures and that sort of thing. You got to be able to hold a conversation with them. You got to be able to ask questions. You got to be able to, kind of carry it to a place where you can get all of the required data. And self-motivated. Your income is going to vary depending on the number of assignments that you actually do, as well as how you manage your time. So, being self-motivated is going to help you earn, a dependable income. And by that, like I said, this doesn't have to be something that's going to replace your 9 to 5 by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know very many people that do it full time. I do enough of it to say that it is a legitimate stream of income. But in order for that to be something that I can depend on, I've got to take, a lot of shops. So I've got to be able to say, I'm going to do this many assignments, on a week by week or month by month basis. I've got to agree to them. I've got to negotiate, my fees and that sort of thing, because whatever I'm using those funds for, if I'm going to depend on those funds, I've got to make sure that I'm doing my part, which is actually, checking assignments, accepting the assignments, completing the assignments. Getting started, it's super simple. I mean, I know people have said to me, "Oh, I've been trying to get started in this for years," but the biggest thing is number one, it's just finding the legitimate companies. A lot easier than it sounds. I know we talked about scams and we talked about, the people that are out here trying to fool you in some kind of way. But there are hundreds of mystery shopping companies out here, and so those companies again service third party providers for their clients who are looking for this data. So it's a little bit of research, but I've done a lot of that over the years, and so I mean I have a mystery shopping course, and of course we cover everything from soup nuts to bolts, and we don't have time to do that here. But basically, once you find those companies, you're creating a profile, you're signing up for their emails. I personally suggest you have a separate email for your mystery shopping assignments because they will come in. There will be a lot of them, and you don't want them, to kind of backlog your regular email. You want to be able to say, this is my mystery shopping time, and when I go to this email, all I'm doing is looking for suitable assignments. So you want to sign up for their emails because that is a thing. Like you can go directly to their site and look for jobs, but by having them, allowing them to send you the jobs, it saves you a step. So then they're there in your inbox. You can go and peruse them. Like I said, if it's not something you're interested in, you just delete them. But you need to check them fairly often because if you're in a place where there are a lot of shoppers, then those are going to go quickly. Any of the popular ones are going to go very quickly. So that's not something that you can take your time on. You're going to apply for those assignments just by clicking on the links in the emails. And then if assigned, you're going to be sure to read the guidelines. So you're going to add that assignment to your calendar. And then I'm actually going to recommend that you track that on some type of spreadsheet as well. That's just a me thing. I know, probably is, well, like I said, I know in my course, there's like a whole spreadsheet that I add, but it's not a requirement. It's not something that you have to do. So don't let that deter you. But it's a great way to be able to track it all and just know that everything that you've done and worked for is going to get, you're going to get paid for it. And then the other thing is to complete that evaluation and making sure that you actually review those guidelines. You want to review the guidelines. I know I've said that many times, but that's the biggest piece of it is they have a way for you to do it. You want to make sure that you're following that because that's how you're going to make sure that you get paid. So you're going to review the guidelines before, review the guidelines during, and you're going to review the guidelines after you do it to make sure that when you submit it, you followed everything. So once you do that, you're going to complete that evaluation and then making sure you've reviewed the guidelines and followed them. That's going to ensure that you're going to get paid. Make sure that you submit it on time. And then, of course, you're going to keep your receipts and any copies of anything that you've done until you get paid. So I do a lot of these. So again, tracking is super important to me. If you're only doing, 2 or 3 a month, it's a lot easier than what I'm actually covering right now. But I would say on average, I probably do at least, I want to say at least 40 a month. I'd say at least 3 or 4, at least 3 or 4 a week, but it just kind of depends. So if we're traveling and we're going somewhere, I can knock out 3 or 4 in a day. So yeah, I have a lot to track. And if we're in different locations and that sort of thing, I want to make sure that if there's bonuses attached or if I've negotiated a different fee, that all of that gets done in the right manner. I know these are going to be a little bit hard to read, but I did want to just kind of go through what an app looks like just because I didn't want to talk about all of it and then not have you at least have an opportunity to ask questions about the actual process. The reason I thought about not doing this part, but because every platform is going to have a different way of gathering your information. But this particular app is used on a platform that probably hosts maybe I'd say more than 70% of the companies that I'm signed up with. So this is a very common looking application where you're actually signing up. I shouldn't say application. This is signing up to become a shopper for a specific company. So you're going to basically just your name, your email, of course, that's highlighted, and choose a password. Of course, they give you the requirements for that. Put in your mailing address, and that's going to have to be, in many cases, an actual physical address. Some of them will not accept PO boxes, your city, state, zip, and then they want a phone number. The phone number is typically so that nowadays, so that they can reach out to you via text. They will usually ask you, is it okay for us to text you? And you always want to say yes if they ask that, because that means you're going to get cued in on those opportunities faster than you would if you had to say stop and go check your email and do it in a different way. So if the text messages are an option, I say by all means, sign up for them. Again, if you're not interested, many of them will say, don't respond, just respond if you're interested. You just delete them. MSPA is Mystery Shopping Providers Association. They do offer certifications. Absolutely not necessary. I have thought many times about going to a few of their events and even getting certified, but I've done so many now. I'm on a first name basis with some of the schedulers, but I don't see any benefit in it for me. If you're a brand new shopper, I'm sure that it's different now than it was, 16, 17 years ago. But absolutely go to their website, check it out, and see if that's something that you're interested in. I will say that it is absolutely not necessary to get the jobs or to get the job done. Payment information. So this is very important. Every company is going to have their specific way of paying you, and many of them have their own payment platforms. So you'll need to sign up again with something else. So this one specifically only uses PayPal. It's the only way they pay. And so that would tell you, if I don't have a PayPal account and I want to do shops with this company, I'm going to have to set up a PayPal account in order to get paid. And like I said, this is a typical form, but every company would have their own information in here. So not every company would say we only pay via PayPal. Some of them would say we pay via direct deposit or we pay via check, and you make your selection. But this one that I chose only uses PayPal. And then demographic information, of course, is going to be your age, your gender, your height, your weight, your income, your education, your marital status, hair color, eye color, those sorts of things. And now, of course, with video cameras in most places, they do have the ability to go back and double check, your report. If you say you walked in at 10:04 and you actually didn't get there till 10:35 and the shop said that you had to be there before 10:30, they're able to check those kinds of things. So they'll see, who you are based on your description of yourself. How many children, your race. A lot of this they just want to know because they want to be able to match people up with certain types of shops. So, if you say that you don't have any kids, they probably are not going to specifically, not that you couldn't do it or get someone else's kids or use a niece or nephew or whatever, but they're probably not going to specifically reach out to you for a trampoline shop or something like that, if you don't have kids and they require that you bring kids. So just general information. Area codes. I don't know if they really use these anymore. This form has been around a long time and they're still using the same form, but it says that the more codes you list, the more shops you may be offered. So these are phone codes, not postal codes. So these are the 3-digit codes that go in front of your phone number. And if you know the areas around you or the areas that you travel to often, then you would put those codes in there. And so I have done that. And I can't say that I would get any more specific offers from some of the outside area codes that I listed. I don't know. If I think about it, maybe I have over the years. I'm not sure. And then, of course, social security number. So people are hesitant about giving away their social, to a brand new company, somebody they're not familiar with or whatever. But if you want to get paid, then you have to give your social security number. Now, many times when you get all the way to the bottom where it says sign me up, I'm not sure if you can actually do it without putting something in the field. And so if you were hesitant to do it, I would say put in 999-99 9999. And then if they will accept that, I'm not sure if they will or not, but if they'll accept just like a dummy number, then when you are actually assigned something, and I have actually kind of vetted the company, or when you are comfortable, then you'll be able to actually call your scheduler or reach out to the company directly and provide them with your social security number at that time. Every company that I've applied with and everyone that I have shopped with and worked with, I've always given them my number in the application, and I've never had any problems with that. But I do all that, research on the front end. Let me go back. That's pretty much it. Of course, your social security number has to be there. It has to match your legal name. And then, of course, they have a privacy policy toward the bottom that you do have to scroll all the way down to, and then actually click agree at the bottom and sign up. So this is what they call an ICA, and almost every mystery shopping company that I'm familiar with calls it an ICA, but that's just an independent contractor agreement. So you're basically agreeing that you are an independent contractor. You're agreeing that you're going to follow all of their standards and guidelines and everything else. And you're agreeing that that is, a condition of your payment and that sort of thing. But again, this is a very common looking form for a lot of companies, but not everyone uses it. And other companies may have a different type of sign up. So don't be afraid to sign up. Just make sure that you've done a little bit of due diligence on the front end. You don't have to share any more than you want to. And then, of course, you can always reach out to them directly as long as you've gotten that information, from a reliable source. A website. Check and see if they've got a website. Every reliable company should have a website. If you're getting emails from somebody with a Hotmail or a Gmail and they're saying that they're a mystery shopping company, that's so 1990s. No, every company has their own domain now, so that should be, like Q number one. But you go to their website, they should have a number, they should have a way for you to reach out to them. They should have, legitimate information about their company, when it was founded, what they do, that sort of thing. And when you feel comfortable, you can reach out to them and provide them with more information at that time. So um, same premise, but this is another part of the form where we're looking at locations for a shop. So, and this one is it's got the shop name on here, but this one is actually one that I did. I don't know, not this past week, but I think this one was probably last summer. But it gives you restrictions. So you can't have shopped the same location within 90 days. That's typical, especially for a higher paying shop. This one has a reimbursement or shop limit of $1,100. And then, of course, it's only paying $50. But on these particular shops, when I go, it might be me and my kiddos, or it may be me and my mom. We can go into these places, and if it's a resort, it might have 5 different restaurants. And they want you to eat at all 5 restaurants. They want you to go to the coffee shop. They want you to go to the pastry shop. They want you to go to the breakfast buffet. They want you to assess the spa. They want you to assess, any amenities that they might have. Like if they've got a golf course, you might have to go to the desk and ask a question. Is there a wait time? Those sorts of things. But they've got a coffee bar. They want you to assess that. If they've got a valet, they want you to assess that. So, you can start racking up the expenses pretty quickly, but you can see, that you're getting the benefit of all those. So if I was going to take my mom on a spa trip anyway, and, instead of paying that $1,100, let them pay that $1,100. And even though this one says that they were only paying $50, I think I negotiated it a little bit. I know I negotiated some travel expenses for that one because it wasn't in my town. It was a little ways down the road. But mileage, travel expenses, tolls, parking, that sort of thing. You can see how it can very easily add up. But by the same token, that's $1,100 that I did not have to pay. So one of the things that they mentioned, it's a very long and detailed shop. You would want to be familiar with the survey before you begin the shop. Back to the previous slide where I said you review the guidelines before you ever start. So you know what you're looking for. You review the guidelines when you're kind of in the middle of it. You want to make sure that you're answering them correctly. And then you're going to review the guidelines before you actually hit submit, because you want to make sure you didn't miss anything. Those are the things you're going to do to make sure that you get paid. I would hate to go to a place like this where I spent $1,100 on my credit card and then fumble the ball. You don't want to do that and then not get that pay reimbursed to me. That has never, ever, ever happened to me, just for the record. So again, when those detailed reports, that written, excellent written communication skills, those sorts of things come into play. If there's $1,100 on the line, you best believe I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it right. So yeah, but in this one, they talk about they wanted you to get the names of all the employees you come in contact with. They want you to assess the valet, the bellman, check-in services, chat services. So they want you to actually download the app. They want you to chat over the app. They want you to go to the spa, the room service, the bar, the restaurant, all of these things. And the shop expenses are $545. That they're paying for all of these things that you're doing, whether that's the spa, the parking, the valet, and all those things. Plus, they're reimbursing you for 2 hotel nights. And so you're going to stay there for 2 nights. You're going to get to go to the spa. You're going to do all these things. And what they do is they just reverse the charges. You give them your report. You put it all on your card. They see that you checked in. And then they just reverse the charges. And so you don't ever have to pay one dime in this case, as opposed to, some of those that I mentioned where you've got to have the money up front and then get reimbursed. They're like, okay, we're not going to make you pay this kind of money up front. These charges will get reversed once the report is received, and then information's in the guidelines for whomever is selected for this shop. That was me in this case. So read your guidelines and view the questions before conducting your shop. Provide as much detail in your report as possible. Pros and cons. They don't want you to be heavy on the praise if you don't have, some of the critique to go with it, and vice versa. Everybody couldn't have done everything wrong. So I want you to weigh that out. But, tell us what was good, what was bad, what was memorable, those sorts of things. But you want to make sure that you want to make sure that your narratives give them a basis for allowing some coaching for their employees, that sort of thing. So do not miss or cancel your shop, because that will affect your future work. So it's very important that you communicate with your schedulers in this point. Things do come up, things do happen, but you do not want to completely miss it or cancel it. If anything comes up, you want to have an opportunity to reschedule it. Okay, so again, this is the same one, but hotel shops, 2-night stay. This is just comments about it. But these were going to tell you that you can't bring pets, you can't bring children, but you could bring your spouse. So you could, I think in this case, I brought my mom, but you cannot bring little kids. You can't bring, your fur baby. And that's just a hotel. I believe that's a hotel standard. I don't know if that was the company standard. I'm sorry, the mystery shopping company standard. But they do not pay, in this case, they did not pay for expenses and airfare. They say traveling expenses, but that would be in my mind, trying to take a bus to somewhere or the airfare. But I did manage to negotiate some mileage, and because it wasn't right down the street, it wasn't very far from me. I want to think that this one was maybe about 50 miles, but there were some tolls associated with it. And of course, if the wear and tear on my car, you're going to have to pay me if you want me to do the shop. And I had a history with them of doing the shop and doing it well. So they were willing to do that for me and compensate me for that. So that you actually had to put everything on the card. That included your tips. You had to bill it to the room so that they could reverse the charges. And there were a few exceptions to that. I think at the bar, they wanted me to pay cash and, of course, get a receipt. But they didn't want, everything else, like including the tips and everything else, they wanted it to be charged to my room so they could just reverse the charges. And so anyway, they want you to say, go to the website, look at it, and then you make your reservation on the phone. They had very specific instructions on how to get it done. So I only brought this up. Like I said, I know it may be a little hard for you to read, but I only brought it up and put it in the slideshow just so that you could get a feel for what to look for. I don't want to cover it in detail, but in addition to filling out the information to apply, if you want to call it that, apply for the shop. Then they also sometimes have screening questions that would either preclude you from taking a shop or being assigned a shop or being able to do a shop. And then you want to make sure that you go through those screening questions as well. You understand that you cannot perform more than one shop the same day, any medical conditions, any of your close friends working there. And then, of course, you've got to do whatever it is that they want you to do to actually assess it. And in this case, it was a chicken place, so you had to be able to eat chicken. So yeah, if you had answered no on this, clearly you wouldn't be assigned the shop. So those kinds of things. But these are just what we call screening questions, just to see if you're gonna, if you pass the mustard as far as is this a good fit. More things, evaluation. So those other ones were kind of going through the guidelines of things they wanted you to look for, things that they were looking for in the person that they were going to select to do it. This is an actual evaluation. So every company is different, every evaluation is different, and every client, of course, that could be one company that has multiple clients, but whoever it is that they're pulling the information for, they're going to want specific information. So this one is actually a car wash that I do multiple times a month, 3, 4, 5 times a month, different locations. But you go through, and the beginning of it is just kind of the short version of the guidelines. It tells you what you're supposed to be doing all the way down to the service part. And then when you get to the service part, it's specifically the date, the time, how long it took. Did someone help you? Were they friendly? Did they assist you with your actual purchase? Did they make any recommendations? And it goes on and on. You can read some of these for yourself. Hopefully you have an opportunity, if you do purchase the replay, where you can pause it and kind of look through it. If you've got questions, by all means, you can post those in the Facebook group. I'll go back after this session airs and answer any questions I can. If you have questions, feel free to post them down there, anything specific to the presentation, that is, and I'll be happy to address those. But yeah, you can just kind of look through here, but just to get a feel for the types of questions that they want you to answer. And so again, this one I do multiple times a month. And it literally takes me, I want to say, all of maybe 10 minutes to complete each and every time, because I know what to look for when I pull up. I know exactly how to conduct the shop, I know exactly what to do. And then, once I finish with washing my car and vacuuming it out and doing whatever, then I'm able to just get in my car, click, 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 go through all the questions. And it takes me about 10 minutes, and then I'm on my way. That way I don't have to worry about when I get home, or even to the next place. If I've got multiple shops, I don't have to try to remember or recall everything that happened. I can do it right there on the spot, have it done, and finished. And we talked some about getting paid, but you will need to provide tax information, which is your Social Security number in most cases. And again, I think I mentioned that, but you can wait until after you've done a shop or spoken with them directly. Often you can do that by phone if you have, if you're able to find a number and call them directly. You can say, well, I didn't put my social in on the sign up form, but I would like to provide that to you now because I'm scheduled to do a shop next week. Make sure they got it in their system. And so normally you're going to have to do that with each company. Like I said, that sign up form is per company. Most companies do not collect or share information between MSCs, but you'll find more recently, just in the last few years, some of them are forming alliances or merging. Some of the larger mystery shopping companies are kind of coming together. So your information may carry over. I won't say that they share it, but it may carry over if you've been shopping for one company and they get acquired or merge with another company. Then that other company may, just by default have your information. So mentioned again, many of them pay by PayPal. So if you don't have PayPal, that's something to consider. But some do pay by direct deposit. And I know of at least 3 or 4 that have their own payment platform that you have to sign up for, and then they pay you through that. It goes directly into your checking account, but you've got to go through their payment provider in order to get to that next step. Keeping in mind, most of them take at least 30 days after you actually submit that report before they come back and pay you. And most of them is just because they're on a payment cycle. So they don't pay, oh, well, you did this shop, I'm going to pay you, next week or the following week. Most of them, because they're very small companies, may have one or two people working in their accounts payable department. So they have like one day a month that they pay on, which is why it would be, at least 30 days. So if you are doing that shop on the 28th of the month and they pay out on the 30th, you would probably have to wait until that next 30th to get paid, because yours wouldn't have fallen in and gotten completed and gotten accepted by the client and all that in order to get that cutoff date. So they only pay out usually once or twice a month, so you got to wait till it cycles through. More recently, there are some that are paying much more quickly than that, just a few of them. And there are some that they'll, if they need someone to shop very quickly, then the flip side of that is they'll tell you, if you shop it, if you can shop it today or tomorrow, we'll pay you within 3 days. So just be on the lookout for the payment information so that you know what to expect. And again, I recommend tracking that some kind of way. If you don't want to use a spreadsheet, you can set events or reminders or tasks, whatever works for you. Just make sure that you're, tracking that somehow so you can reach out to them if there's any discrepancy in the payment date or the payment amount, any of that. We are not doing side hustles to not get paid. So overall, my recommendations, of course, I think I've mentioned them briefly, is just sign up with as many companies as you can, just so that you can maximize the opportunity. The more companies you sign up with, the more offers you're going to get. That's just, it's a numbers game. So don't be afraid to go out there, search for them, find them, and sign up with them and see what they have to offer. There's not any place that I know of where you're going to find out who their clients are. That just comes from research and experience. When you start getting the offers and clicking on them and actually going and putting the address in and figuring out like, oh, this is this company, because they won't normally divulge who their clients are in those offers very often. Sometimes they do, but there's no way to say, I want some ice cream today. I wonder who has, Dairy Queen for a client or Baskin Robbins for a client. Even in all my years, there's no real way of getting that type of information. And the clients they change. So if I own a Dairy Queen, or I wouldn't say just me as an owner, but Dairy Queen as a company might use one mystery shopping company for a period of time, and then they may be looking for different data, or another mystery shopping company may have a presentation to them that they like, and they may switch companies after a while. So I may have been, as a mystery shopper, I may have been getting those assignments from them for, I can say this for years. And all of a sudden, those assignments end and you don't know who the new company is. And so, those things happen. But sign up with as many as you can. You'll get more offers. And then communicate any changes to your scheduler. The scheduler is the person that's actually assigning those evaluations to specific people and following up with you from beginning to end. So soup to nuts, they are your point of contact. If you have any issues, questions, concerns, changes, you reach out to them as soon as possible. And then that keeps you from getting on their bad side. They have a job to do. They want to get it done as quick as possible. So don't wait till the last minute if something comes up. Be sure to communicate with them and, always ask for a reschedule. They may or may not be able to do it depending on their client's deadline. But instead of canceling, as long as they know they're going to get it done, that's going to keep you on their good side, keep you in their good graces, and keep you on, that favorable list. You want to be able to get those calls when something good comes up. And in your narratives, when they are required, that I think that one I just showed you, I forgot to go over that, but there's not a lengthy narrative on that. It was mostly check marks. Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. Did they do this at this amount of time? Yes. But if there is a lengthy narrative required, make sure that you are as descriptive as possible. Don't say, the food was good. That's not a mystery shopper's statement. My food was delivered on time. It was fresh. The ingredients tasted fresh. It was seasoned perfectly. All of those descriptive words, even whether it's positive or negative, it will alleviate them having to come back to you and say, well, what was good about it? What did you like about it? because that's a delay. That's a delay in them having to reach back out to you. That's a delay in them getting that evaluation over to their client. So any delays in editing are going to be delays in them getting the deliverable over to the client. So they don't if the client doesn't have any additional questions when they send it over, guess what? They cut them a check and then they can cut you one. So if at all possible, of course, sign up for text messages. I mentioned that's a great way to get notified about last minute shops. Also a great way to get shops with bonuses. Also a great way to get the numbers of some of the schedulers. You'll be able to kind of program them into your phone. So when they call, you see the call coming in. You know that's a call you want to be able to try to field if you're able to. But in addition to that, always try to negotiate those fees when they call out. If they reach out to you directly, that means they need somebody. So if they say we're offering a $15 bonus, to go do this shop that they normally only pay $15 for, they're doubling the fee on it. Hey, I'm going to ask for 20 or 25. I'm getting it done. I'm able to go get it done for you. Like right now, I'm going to go get it done for you today. But I've got to go, I live in a military town, so I might have to go over on the base. And, those shoppers who have that access may not be as accessible to them as they would like. So, you're going to get it done. You know my track record. So instead of this, $10 bonus, $15 bonus, I'm going to need 25, but I'm going to go get it done for you today. No problem with that. I've never had somebody tell me no when I ask them, to up the bonus. And sometimes I'll even say, oh, anytime you need this done, I'm your person. I can come over here or I will come over here. I'm always over here 3-4 times a month. Just let me know when you need it done. And for this price, I can get it done for you, on your schedule. Back to my tracking, I say that is essential to make the most of your time. So if you don't track it, you don't know exactly what you've spent. You don't know exactly what you got paid. You don't know exactly how far you went. And so for me, this is one of the wonderful benefits of mystery shopping is I am able to make everyday expenses like a burger or a pizza or bowling or laser tag or a water park. I'm able to make those regular, normal, expenses tax deductible because I wouldn't be paying for it if they weren't paying me back for it. So even though I'm getting the money back, that's going to be income. But those fees, not the fees, the costs that I'm expending, all that's deductible now. So when I go to get a coffee, latte, Dr. Pepper, all that stuff I got to do when I'm at that resort, those are all tax deductible expenses now. And so when that income comes in, I'm deducting all of that away. So, that $1,100 is down to, just that 150 or whatever they were paying me. So another thing, just to keep it in mind that when you track it, you're able to make the most of your time. You're able to know exactly when you were supposed to get paid and if you got paid. So read those guidelines. And so these are just tips. Again, wanted to cover them, but read the guidelines when you get them. Contact your scheduler right away if you've got questions. Hey, is this location, whatever. You can, most of the things you are able to Google, but if they have something in their guidelines that are questionable, you want to make sure you ask the question sooner. Don't wait until the last minute till you're walking out the door to try to get the assignment done. And now you can't reach someone right away and you're not able to do it on your schedule. So, of course, create a schedule for the shop. Add those details to your calendar and or spreadsheet. I have all of that in there. When I'm going, what I'm supposed to be doing, the times, because some of them do have specific times that you're supposed to go. They may want a lunchtime shop or a dinner time shop, but I put all that in a spreadsheet. So when I look at that, it's on my calendar. When I look at that, it pulls up my spreadsheet and I'm able to see, oh, this is a lunchtime shop. So today I'm making out my plans for our home menu. I don't need to shop for lunch. I need to shop for dinner, those sorts of things. Read the guidelines. You can contact your scheduler again with any changes. So if you have questions about the shop in general, you contact them. And then if you have any changes to the shop, like how I signed up to do it on Wednesday, something came up, I can't do it on Wednesday because, we got dinner plans, my husband's family's coming in or whatever. You want to contact them as soon as possible. And then when you go in to complete it, you're going to read those guidelines again to make sure that you're doing everything while you're on location according to the guidelines. And then, of course, when you start that shop, start with an open mind. Don't go in there thinking, oh, I heard really, really bad things about this place. Or even the converse of that, I heard this place was fabulous. Because when you go in there, you don't want to have a set of expectations that someone is either trying to live up to, or in this case, maybe live down to. You want to go in there with a clean slate so that you're not reporting anything but facts. And so you don't compare your experience with previous visits. As I mentioned, some of these places I do multiple times a week, multiple times a month. And I don't want to say, well, last time, the employee said this, or that, or they were able to do this or that for us, or they gave us this or that. It's like each experience should be a standalone experience. So just keep that in mind, because that's what the client, the company that you're shopping for, the company that where you are assigned, that's what they're expecting. They're not expecting a comparison. They're expecting you to walk in and act as an anonymous customer, but they don't want a comparison game. They want to know exactly how they performed on that day and in that space. So you're going to pay close attention during the shop. You're going to take good mental notes and provide as much information as possible. One of the things that I always, always, always do is, it doesn't matter how quick, simple, short an assignment is, I turn my voice recorder on my phone right away. That way I don't miss anything. When I'm walking through the door, I'll hit that button and say, hi, or if I hear them say, hi, welcome to wherever, I know I just hit that door. I just walked in. I can time exactly how long it took from the time I got to the register until the time they handed me my receipt, until the time they handed me my order. All of those minor details, I don't want to have to go back and check a stopwatch and do all those things. If I record it from beginning to end, I can see the timing on that recording. That's just a personal pro tip, because that's what I do. And I consider myself to be very well versed in this mystery shopping game. And then, of course, as soon as you're done, complete that report as soon as possible, just so that you don't have to try to recall, something from this morning and now it's 10 o'clock at night. So that one is just, that's just fair game. You just want to make sure you get it done as quickly as possible. If you do know that, you like, a lot of times we're traveling, so I'm driving through someplace and I'm not going to be able to complete the form until I get to my destination. And if I'm driving, maybe several hours later, I got to check in. I've got things to do when I get there. Then I do want to make sure I jot down some notes, whether that's on my voice recorder or wherever, just for a memory aid, just so that I'm not trying to, rack my brains and remember what was her name. Oh my goodness, what was her name? Because many times that's going to be a requirement. If they have on a name tag, you need to report who it was that you were interacting with. If you've got a review feature on your photos, of course, they need to be digital, because you'll be uploading those, not, sending them later on. If you've got a review feature, you want to take that picture and review it right away. You don't want to be sending blurry, bad, horrible pictures after the fact because you were moving or something was in the way. I've had a few times where my purse strap or something might have been in the way of my photo, and then I didn't realize it until I reviewed it, and then I could, make the adjustment and take the photo again. But you're going to answer, again, the guidelines, read the guidelines just before you submit, just in case you miss something. If they said it had to be done a certain way, make sure that you're following those guidelines. I don't want anyone to not get paid for the work that they do. And then you're going to answer each question clearly. You're going to stick to the facts only, and you're going to save those notes. Save those notes. And you're going to save those receipts and any of your mileage information for your tax deductions. We're all about saving on our taxes. So, best of luck. I hope that you are a little more comfortable now with going out and finding some of these assignments and getting started. As I mentioned, we will have a full-on mystery shopping course from soup to nuts with all the information, including spreadsheets and all that information that we don't have time to cover right here, right now. But you can use these tips to go out and try some of the mystery shopping companies you can make money on. So there are, as I mentioned, hundreds of companies. We only covered a few. Well, actually, we're not covering them here, but one of the bonuses is that list of 10 legitimate ones. Those are the ones that I've actually worked with, done work with, have had assignments with, know that they pay on time, that sort of thing. But let us know if there are any out there that you've heard of, any out there that you may have used once or twice, wondering what they're up to, that sort of thing, that you wanted, that you've heard about, that you would like to get our input on. If it's somebody that I've had some experience with, I'm happy to provide that. Or if you think it would be beneficial for us to cover this, in more depth at a later time. But I appreciate you all's attention. I hope this was beneficial. Like I said, this is something that's near and dear to my heart, and I know that any and everyone can get a little bit of what do you want to call it? Funny money on the side, get you some stuff going on so that you can, save that money for a vacation. Or again, like for my kids, it's something that they'll be able to use as they're going out. When they want to buy $20 burgers, that's not on mom. That's not going to be on my dime. That's going to be, you know what, you better go find you a shop and go do whatever, because some of those places that they really, really like, I don't even care for. So for us to go out as a family and drop $100 on, just some burgers and fries, I'm not really about that life, because to me, I'm like, my burger's better than theirs anyway, but that's just me. So hopefully you got some good information that you can use to go out and get you some mystery shopping jobs. But if you haven't already, go and join our eCom Sellers Mastermind Facebook group. We have lots of support over there, and we drop nuggets from time to time over there. You'll always be able to get, some support. If you've got a question, some of the other members over there might see it before one of us, but you'll be able to ask a question over there and hopefully get you a good answer, something that, will help you as you move forward in your e-commerce journey or with your side hustle. And you can go there and join us there. And of course, we always have our academy where we have training, support, coaching, and it's our community. But, the side hustle chicks, it's what we do. E-commerce is one piece of it, but we have other stuff going on. So this weekend, what we want you to do is go and start your business. You can do this weekend. You can already be, out there living your best life in the mystery shopping world. Just let us know how we can help you, how we can support you. And with that, we're going to say bye for now. Side Hustle Chick signing off.